Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your dude, your rebel, your guy, steps next level, Keenan Sargent, aka 1192, saying what's up. Here for another KeeKlip episode. For today, here we have KeeKlip 367 for season 7, episode 17. Yes, 3 7s. That's a lucky number. So, do another quick review for the day. Recap. We looked at the Lego Time Cruisers for 365, and then the last episode we looked at the entire series of Knights of Zodiac, the 1980s version. So now we're gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna be a different story. And this one here is basically Saint Seiya, the Lost Canvas. Totally different story, different acting, but there may be some references and also uh, key people. So as we see in the 80s version, for those of you guys, also spoiler alert, if you have not watched it yet, do not watch this. Skip. But so basically we see in the 80s one, it was all 6 seasons, where this one is basically one, and everything kind of closed in together. But for the 80s version, we had more battles, more plots, just everything. So in this one, it plays a little bit different. So it starts off with two kids. One kid was saving this dog, and apparently these kids were bullying him, and out of nowhere, another kid kind of kissed the bullies. And that's the main character, Timma, and the other kid is Alone. That's his name is actually Alone. Um, at a point, so Alone is basically an artist. He's an inspired artist. He likes to just draw things with lots and lots of color. Um, and so, of course, they go to an orphanage. And at one point, it's mentioned and seen if you remember the character Athena, one on here has a new name, Sasha. And apparently, they mention this a lot, where Tim and Sasha had met when they were young. They don't know about this, or he kind of knows a little bit, but she doesn't. And she gives him this bracelet with flowers, and that actually continues on to the story later on. Um, so one point in the episode, one of the not guardians, one of the goat knights, and this is the Libra Deku, Libra Doku. Sorry about that. Deku is my hero. uh, he goes into town. He basically seeks out this kid, and apparently there was a danger of like some sort of rocks clogging in this water, and basically if that was the case, it would have drowned the whole town. And so Tim basically goes out of his way to basically move this rock out the way. And of course, it's like a whole dam basically. What he does is just amazing. So like first few punches, he's hurting his hand like hell. And then later on, he basically develops his power. He developed his Cosmo, and Libra Doku is just amazed at this. He busts the rock. And so the next morning, while the water was coming down, he basically just got in the way, and basically saved them. And so to a point where he wants to have Timma to be a saint. Now again, this is nowhere near any other story from the 80s version. Totally different. So they go off, and then basically Alone was, he was kind of sad that his friend had to leave. And so one part, he goes to this forest and starts painting. I think he paints the dog and something else. And apparently the dog dies. Because the story behind this one, the paintings of whatever he makes is basically dead. And so he promised Tim that he'll finish the painting when he gets back. And this whole series gets dark, like for real. And this one chick, she's wearing all black. I forgot the name. I think her name was Pandora. And at one part, she sees him like just crying, and she's one of the what do you want to call the dark specters, and she basically tries to deduce him to, of course, join the dark side. And to the knowledge, they take him to this temple in a forest or a cathedral, and I believe the music on here is really really good. So he's meeting all these other dark specters, and they kind of plant this other dark specters. They kind of playing along. They bring him to the cathedral, and he's seeing or they tell him to go see something beautiful at the end of the church, and he sees this gigantic piece, like a statue, and it's basically Hades. It's a dark spirit, which in time, I think a few episodes in, alone is basically possessed with that dark power, and now he becomes Hades, and so now he's basically the villain, and he's showing like all these. I think it's like also a statue and like some skulls and whatnot. It's gritty, like wow. And so years pass. Tim is now older. I think some of these kids are like 16. They're still in their teen years, so like they're basically young knights. Um, yeah. So they're off on this island. You know, they're training. And of course the other gold saints are there as far as Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer, Taurus. What was the other one? What was the other ones? Aquarius. It's just like, and they, of course, all of them had different names. Basically, they had their own. Of course, they had their own students to protect. And Pope Aries now is basically now a good guy, and he has a brother, which is basically from another secluded area with another one of his saints, so to speak. And one character I forgot his name already. Something with a T, and he possessed the saint of the unicorn. So kind of like in the last one, there was a unicorn there. Basically the same distinct characteristics, but different personality. And also, of course, you know, Timma gets the Pegasus saint. And at one part, they so they go into battle back at their home, and then what he realizes that the whole city is on fire, is in flame, and he goes to his old orphanage and he sees like blood and paintings on the wall, and it's like, oh my god. And then they basically fight these other dark specters, and to a point, one of the ghost saints was there. I think one of them got killed. I think that was Sagittarius. He gets killed, and then of course Timma gets killed for a minute, and Pegasus, or not Pegasus, Unicorn, Unicorn Saint, he's alive, and he's basically looking down. It's like, oh my god, he's dead. No, to a point where his body is there, but his soul was in the like in the dark world, or like where land of the dead, basically. And he's chained to this wall. He's chained to like these two pillars, and to a point where like he can still be alive because the Pope Aries' brother was telling him this, because he was also, this one girl that was a saint found him, and they brought it back to the temple. And so they basically go to the underworld to get him, and they fight another specter within that world, and he's killed. And believe me, there's a lot of deaths in here. Like how Dragon Ball Z, how they kill, this one much darker, way darker, maybe darker than Naruto, because there's lots and lots of blood. So they escape, they get him, and they bring it back to the world. So basically, how in the old series, the blood of a gold saint can resurrect an armor, or resurrect, you know, someone, so to speak. And basically, they did that with Timma. And so, you know, back to normal, and then he goes back home, and he goes back home to the other young saints. And then once that's kind of done, that took like a few episodes in. And so the Dark Spectres are on the world, they're on the prowl, and these other gold saints do what they can to kind of hold off. And basically, Taurus was, and he's a big guy too, like Jesus. He fights off another Dark Spectre. I think he fought two. He fought twice. He's strong, like going at it, like just one punch at him, you know, it could be effective. But to a point, he does get beaten because there's one Dark Spectre, he had like a really, really good power setting. So that goes on for a minute to where he's getting weak. He's been falling, like, and you see like he has like a missing eye or a missing pupil. He has like these scars and burns. So he survives that one, defeats him. And then later on, he fights another Spectre. I think he fought two more, because one of them was yeah, one of them was killed. I think the other one escaped or he died in the middle of the end of the battle. And then, of course, in that case, Taurus dies. Um, and like I said, others die along the way. Uh, yeah, others die along the way, and apparently to a point where Tim sees alone as Hades, and he's just beyond shot. He didn't know what the hell was going on, and basically the character for Hades, this one, as far as what the story is about, is actually pretty good. It's pretty well put, well designed. All black, a little bit of gold and golden hair, and just like the whole setback attire is really good. Um, and yeah, so few episodes in, it's 2 seasons, but on Netflix it's at one. But either way, afterwards they go ahead to other to another more other episodes to where the other Gold Knights were basically gonna fight some of the other specters from the underworld, and one of them, which was Cancer. No, because and then no, to a point, Cancer comes into play. Timma wants to leave because he saw Taurus die, and he thinks that it's not his duty anymore to become a Saint. So he tries to run away, and then him and the Cancer Saint, they almost fight, go to another world, and they fight another Dark Spectre. That Dark Spectre dies because that one Ghost Saint was a little bit stronger, and then to go to the like an outer heaven, and he sees the other two Dark Spectres and one of the popes, or one of the good popes. That goes on for another minute. Both of them, they're killed off too. So like I said, it gets quick. It really gets quick, even for like 26 episodes, to a point. So basically, the others, it will come down to the last few, and Pantera sends these other two. I think it was the same ones. Yeah, these other two Dark Specters, and they're kind of strong too. They kind of hold off a little bit. To a point where near the end they do do a great battle. So like the brother of the Pope, he's now in charge, and the other trainers, they're now summoned to battle, and it leaves only a few Gold Saints left. Not a lot, only a few. That's where we get down to like the last few episodes. Their battle with Hades, battle with the other Dark Specters, to a point where the brother, he's given all he's got, because he carries his sword, which it gains him a power, and it was passed down, and so he uses everything that he can to I think secure some of the armors, because at one point Pegasus has like this dawning silver armor, kind of how in the old one Saint Seiya was holding on to a Sagittarius armor. This one was a little bit different, so he doesn't really wear gold yet, but this one, it was just a bigger piece of armor that was only used like probably twice. So afterwards, those two are down. Another Gold Saint, I think, dies, and it's basically just Timma and alone, and the girl and the Unicorn Saint. So how it ends is weird, making it look like Alone won, and he went to the stairs of heaven, and that's where his castle was. So that right there, it left a major cliffhanger, and surprisingly, I looked it up online too. There was not going to be any more seasons, so I think to that point, if it does, or they want to continue that story, it has to be either online or through manga. So we don't know how it's going to happen, because it was like a whole lot of dark things within the whole entire series, which I would say it was good. It was good, compared, and I don't know if I did say it before, because I know I did a clip of this. Compared to Ronin Warriors and Saint Seiya, I still go for Ronin Warriors no matter what, because that's beyond cool. This right here, I wouldn't say it's a ripoff, because Ronin Warriors is more, the Japanese Asian aspects to where this one was more Greek mythologies and stuff. But yeah, like I said, the Saint Seiya Lost Canvas I believe is pretty good. For those of you that have Netflix, I'll give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. You know, kind of check it out for yourself. I believe it's a really good story for those that kind of like dark, gritty, you know, vibes within the stories. So, yeah. Another quick review, like just add. And like I said, on here's only one season. Even though it's two, but they combine into one. So, yep, that's Saint Seiya. Lost Canvas review. Hope you guys liked this video as much as I did. To all my anime fans, check it out if you I recommend it. Of course, before we go, like we do always, like, comment, subscribe onto the channel. Find me on Facebook, Keenan Sargent, or facebook.com/DudeLevel92. Also on Twitter and Instagram, DudeLevel92, and even Snapchat and TikTok, DudeLevel92. Till next time, stay tuned for 368, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.